again, everybody, and welcome back to Future Blitz. And today we're going to look at the OBJ 252U, the Russian Tier 8 heavy tank. It's a premium tank, just hit the stores, where it comes with two options: fully equipped at, wait for it, $45, or not fully equipped at $40. Yeah, how much? Absolutely. I mean, this is a Tier 8 tank. But is it actually worth the money? Well, let's have a look at it. This is it in armor inspect, and as you can see, it's, wow, a big red tomato. I mean, this thing has got some funky-dunky armor, guys. And, you know, I made a mistake here, because I've got it paired off against an FV405, which is a Tier 10 TD. That's yet to come out. And as you can see, it's still pretty funky-dunky. So when I changed it to the Louver, which is obviously a heavy in its own line, then the profile didn't change that much, I'll be honest with you. But boy, this thing has got some armor. It also got a massive gun. Now, this is me rolling out in actually a tournament last night. And, you know, okay, it's got a long reload. It's slow, it's a heavy. It got quite a long aim time, but boy, this gun is fantastic. And look at this, I'm bouncing that Scorpion G over there. There's a Scorpion in the corner, and I've just bounced him for a shed load, and now I've just knocked him for a shed load with an HE. I've bounced him again. I mean, the armor on this thing is spectacular. The gun on this thing, I really like it. It's a really big, long-barreled gun, and it's got an obscene amount of pen and damage. I mean, you know, you look at the averages on this thing, and in all intents and purposes, you're knocking out 225 penetration values with 420 damage. That's on your standard AP. You stick in your Pramo, okay, you've got 265 pen, drops down to 360 in damage, and then if you stick in your HE, wow, you've got 500 alpha rolls, and this was without all the bells and whistles attached to it. It's a nice tank. I personally think for a Tier 8 heavy, this is borderline OP. The armor is fantastic. You can get up close and personal. You'll bounce most things. It's pretty difficult to pen. Okay, the only downside is that long reload, and it is quite a long reload, as you can see. I mean, I've dropped adrenaline here, and it's still taking me over 10 seconds. In fact, it takes a whopping 14 seconds to load this gun, and that is with you dropping your adrenaline. I mean, its normal load time, when you look at it in Blitzhanger, is actually 13.05 seconds. But because I'm running the calibrated shells, etc., etc., the load time goes up to a big rounded 14 seconds, which is quite a lot for a heavy. But when you're dishing out this much damage, guys, per shell, and when you've got this type of armor, funnily enough, you can live with it. Okay, its DPM is pretty low. It's only got a DPM of 1,931, but that really doesn't do the tank much justice, because this thing is a damage machine. You know, it's got the ability to bounce almost anything at Tier 8, and it's also got the ability to give a lot of pain out. And so don't be infatuated with just the DPM on this thing. It may seem low, in fact it is very low, 1,900 for a Tier 8, but that's not the point of this tank. This point, it's a heavy bully, and you really can bully. I mean, there's another OBJ 252U there. He drops off. I can assure you I did get him, and I knocked him for 500. Can you believe that? I knocked him for 500 for his front plate. I actually like this tank. In fact, I think this tank is fantastic. I think it's a great addition to Tier 8. I took it out yesterday when it came out. I took it out in various games, random mode, rating, and I also took it out in tournaments. And trust me, this is an amazing tournament tank. So if you're into your Tier 8 quick tournaments, wow, this tank is brilliant. It's got everything you need for a tournament. And in the tournaments we went out in last night, I was doing an average of like 2,500 damage in this thing. But let's have a look at that elephant in the room. $45 if you want it equipped. $40 if you don't want it equipped. That's outrageous. I mean, that really is a lot of money for a tier 8 tank. And I said this when the Smasher came out. Fantastic tank, borderline OP, a nice addition to your garage, but at a really massive price tag. And that's the thing I don't get. I mean, if this tank was £20 or $20, then I would say, guys, you know, it's worth it. But when it's $45 fully equipped, I mean, boy, that's a lot of dosh, you know. And you have to look at the player base here. I mean, the player base isn't everybody who's got really good jobs. And 45 quid is a lot of money to drop on a pixelated tank in real terms. I don't think the price is justified. I think the tank is spectacular. I think it's a really cool tank, and I really like it. Okay, yeah, because I spent $45 on it. That's because you know, I had to do the review, and I can afford it, funnily enough. But the thing is, I wouldn't say that the majority of the player base can do that. And I'm not arguing, or I don't even think that, you know, Blitz is turning into a pay-to-win. Okay, this is borderline OP. But, you know, the tank is only as good as the player, and the player is only as good as the team. So it's not a pay-to-win. It gives you an advantage, it gives you an edge, but you still need to have skill, and you still need to have the team around you. So I don't think it's going the way of pay-to-win. I mean, this is me in the very first game I rolled out in on Normandy, and we lost. But I churned out over 3,000 damage, and as you can see there, I mean, gone are the days where you get preferential MM when you buy a premium tank nowadays. The team around me wasn't exactly brilliant. I did what I could in this thing, and I fell in love with it because I did over 3,000 damage in the first game. I realised that it's a very bouncy tank in the right position, and you can do a lot of harm. You really can. It doesn't struggle to pen. It's got not bad gun depression, actually. It's a measly 6%. But funnily enough, it's actually got some relatively nice gun depression. And if you stick it all down like you would, it's similar to a lot of respects to the T-22, but with better armour. And if you get that front lower plate of the pike nose hull down-ish, trust me, it's difficult to pen. Side on, pretty easy. It's a great side scraper as well. But I love the gun. I mean, the gun is fantastic. I mean, look at that. You know, boom, straight into the side of that Panther 2. Okay, I've only done 1,400 damage here, but we end up doing 3,000 damage in the end. But this is the thing. I mean, I love the tank. Don't get me wrong. I think the tank is spectacular. I think it's probably a bit out of place in its tier. This thing can really hold its own against some tier 9s. But that price tag is just daft, in my opinion. It's just daft. And, you know, it's... I don't know if you can say it's wargaming usury or wargaming knowing that the player base is now bigger, that they're just trying to turn a bigger profit. But we have seen a sea change in wargaming strategy now. In the missions, I get a lot more credits, etc., etc. So maybe they've said, well, you know, when we introduce new premium tanks, we're going to make them a bit more expensive. I don't know their strategy. All I know is this tank is outside the price range of many, many people. And that's a shame, because it's a beautiful tank. It really is a joy to play. I like it. And if it was a lot cheaper, I would be telling everybody to get it. But it's not cheaper. So my advice is, if you can afford it, and only if you can afford it, and this tank is really worth a look. Because I really do think it is borderline OP. I mean, okay, I've only bounced 300 here, but look at the damage count I've dished out. I mean, I've been having a fantastic time in this thing. like I said, we lose this battle. But that's not the point. I mean, I get close to 3,500, I think, in this game. I like it. I don't like the price tag. What does it compare to? Well, I was going to show you the tank compare in Blitz Stars, but because there are so many blooming heavy tanks now in Tier 8, it would take up most of the video. But what I can say is this. It doesn't struggle against any of the other heavies. The other heavies can pen it, yes. I mean, the IS-3 there will pen it easily as you sit straight into the lower plate. We did 3,500 odd damage, 3,600 odd damage. It does struggle. The other heavies, it is evenly matched against some of them. I mean, look at that. I mean, it's just amazing. But watch this. I mean, look, it's got some gun depression. I mean, I love that. It brings something different. It's not. People say to me, is it similar to the IS-5 or the IS-3? No. It's actually similar in a lot of respects to the T-22 at Tier 10, but with better armor. It's slower. It's got a slower reload, but it's similar in that respect. I wouldn't say it's the same or even close to an IS-3, IS-5. It's got similar attributes, but its armor profile and its gun is just better. And that's the thing, guys. It's a unique tank, but it's a unique tank that a lot of people may need to consider taking out a mortgage to get. And I don't know if that's done on purpose to, try and not get as many of them into the game, or if it's just wargaming saying, well, we need to increase our profits. Either way, it's expensive. I think, as I say, if you would have dropped it down to £20 or $20 or whatever it is, then I would be telling you to, it's a worthy investment. Now, a good friend of mine, Stubbo from the Clan 49 Div, Clan Leader 49 Div, if you go onto the EU forums, he does a Blitz economy. He rates this tank as fun factor as a B+, but he also states that it's very expensive. And if you read Stubbo's posts, he will tell you, wait, it'll come round again. And when it comes round again, you'll probably get it a lot cheaper. And that's the thing with Blitz. Bide your time, guys. Don't go rushing out to buy it now. There's no requirement to buy it now. It'll be there. It'll come back. And being a premium, the chance of it being nerfed, I would say would be, it's unlikely to be nerfed, but you never know nowadays. I mean, it could be nerfed. They've nerfed premiums before. It's not a collector. It is a pure premium, so it is a bit harder to nerf it. But it is over almost borderline OP, I think. I mean, I think it's fantastic. I mean, I love this tank. I absolutely love it. It's versatile. You can do lots of cool things with it. And it's just a pleasure to drive. I mean, look at this. 400 alpha into that. And I mean, that's standard AP. I mean, I just think it's a fantastic tank. And there are some games, which I haven't shown here, where I bounced so much. And there are some games where I didn't bounce anything. And there are some games where I did shed loads of damage. And I think my average damage in this thing at the moment is about 2,000 after a fair few games. I mean, this is nice. This is a nice tank. And, I'm not the best player in Blitz by any stretch of the imagination. And 2,000 average damage in a Tier 8 tank is pretty nice, in my view. I'm getting a bit pummeled there by the IS-3. And thankfully, I've got a very good teammate in the T-49 who's going to help me out on my pickle. You see, I mean, that's an Object 252U bouncing an Object 252U. It's a bouncy tank. You stick it in the wrong position, however, and you're gonna pen, especially that lower plate. Look at this. Boom. Straight into the lower plate for a massive 460 odd roll. We've now done 2,300 damage. I mean, this is what I was finding. My average damage in games on this thing was approximately 2,000. That's not bad for Tier 8. In fairness, And it's not bad for a tier 8 heavy. Okay, I didn't get an ace, I didn't get a mastery. Not at this stage anyway. But it's got potential. And, you know, I think it's a really good tank for those reasons. But I'm still struggling with that price tag. And I had this bout of uncertainty with the Smasher, a tank again that I really liked, but again with a stupid price tag. I mean, we bounced over 1,000 now. I mean, it's a great little tank, and like the Smasher, I'm torn. I want to tell you to go get it now, because it's fantastic. But at the same time, I want to say to you, you need your head read. It's $45. It's a lot of money. You know, it's not cheap. And because it's not cheap, I struggle. Because I really want to sing the praises of this tank. I really want to tell you that it's worth every single penny. But I don't know if it is. It's my problem. I mean, I love it. I think it's great. But do I love it for $45 of money? You know, when you think about what you can get for close to $50, you can get things that'll last longer than a little pixelated tank. And you can probably get things that will give you more joy than a little pixelated tank. And when you look at some of the other heavies in this line and at this tier, you have to wonder, do I need to really spend close to $50 on a pixelated tank? And, you know, it makes me scratch my head and struggle. This is the last game, by the way. And as you can see, there are some tier 9s in this game. In fact, there's been some tier 9s in most of the games. And this tank holds its own against those. And I can't find any fault, realistically, in the actual tank itself. I just can't. You know, the tank itself, as I keep saying, is in my opinion, an amazing tank. It's a dream tank. It's not OP, but it's close. But that price tag kills me, and you know, it sends me into a hissy fit. I don't know what to tell you in real terms. So I'm going to tell you the truth. And what I think is this. It's a fantastic tank. It's a worthy addition to your garage. It's unique. It is a pleasure to play. It's got lots of pros and not so many cons. Okay, long reload. That's a con. But only get it if you can really afford it, guys. Only get it if that $45 is not going to be a massive hole in your wallet. Only get it if you're wealthy enough to get it. Only get it if, you know, this game is that important to you. Because I'll guarantee you this. If you drop $45 on it now and you're a fair weather player or a player who doesn't take this game seriously enough, then you're throwing your money away in real terms. Because you can join a decent clan and get an IS-5 for next to nothing. You can grind the IS-3 for free. You know, you can get other premiums that they come around, which are equally as fun to play with, for half the price of this. So that would be my advice. Only get it if you can. Only get it if it's within your price range, if you can really afford it, and you're serious enough player to actually get the value for money out of the tank. For the rest of the mere mortals out there, I would say bide your time. It'll come around again, and when it does, it won't be $45. It'll be a lot cheaper, in my view. Anyway, that has been the Object 252U, a fantastic tank, a great tank. Please, if you like the video, comment and like. If you haven't yet, please subscribe. It's a nice thing to do. If you've got any decent replays, by all means send them to me, fujitsblitz@gmail.com. And until the next time, guys, stay safe out there, have fun on the battlefield, and happy tanking. Because, you know, that's what it's all about. Having fun and being happy.